Okay.
Okay, how are you guys?
Um, I'm fine.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Okay. Before we begin our meeting, our interview,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Let me introduce my team members first.
Sure, sure.
So first I am Zohairi, and then we have the wearing cap one is Ryan. Hands up, please, Ryan.
Hi,
Okay.
Ryan.
And then we got Nisha,
Nisha.
Nisha,
Hi.
and then we got Arif,
Hi, Arif.
Hi, Win.
and then we got Atira.
Hi, Atia.
Okay. To begin with, Wayne.
Mm.
You sure you want us to call you Wayne or Mr. Wayne?
Wayne is fine,
Wayne is
really.
fine.
Well, yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. So my first question is can you introduce yourself a bit about your age, background experience, and your about your company?
Sure, sure, sure. So my name's Wayne. Actually, full name Cheah Young. I'm 28 years old this year. I will be 28 this year. Uh, Sorry, what were the other questions again? My
About
education background, was it?
sorry again?
My education background, was it
Yes,
the other
yes.
question?
Education
Yeah,
background.
yeah. So I did law with the University of London. It's an external program
Okay.
back in 2014. I started the business when I was in year two, actually, while I was still studying. And after that, I decided not to venture into the legal field. I decided to start my own business instead, continue with my own business.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. For next question, next question is why you choose this business, your tech Mech Haus KL.
Well, there are several factors really. First being that I think this is a very important factor in Malaysia or elsewhere also really. When it comes to the legal sector, the money isn't really that good, especially if you are just starting out. Unless you were to grind for the next 10 or so years in the first few years of your career for the next 10 years, and then by the time you turn 35 or so, then only you start seeing your real money. And I didn't want to wait that long. Second reason is that I found that the industry is actually quite um, stressful and rigid and quite quite in the olden days, especially in Malaysia. So we still have a lot of law firms, the top law firms that people aspire to join. They are still using manual filing systems. A lot of the partners don't even know how to use computers really, or very olden age kind of people. I didn't really want to be part of that fraternity. Also because it's an oversaturated field. Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Mhm. Mm, yeah, yeah, and venturing into business is something that is far more exciting to me personally. Hence why I'm in it.
Okay. Okay. To begin with, our real question session is
Sure, sure.
we begin with Ryan. Ryan, your
Mm.
questions.
Okay, hi, Win.
Hey.
So, as we know, in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
we began the global has begun the pandemic COVID-19,
Yep.
and the pandemic COVID-19 is affecting all the business in the world. And the question is, how how your performance, how the performance of your business
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic and also after the pandemic.
Hmm. Bit of long story, but basically, when the pandemic first started, I was actually in Europe, and I flew out of Paris on the very first morning of lockdown, and then when I came back to Malaysia, uh, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin actually announced that the borders would be closed and MCO would start. I think about 3 days after I came back, and immediately after I arrived, I saw that sales were picking up rather rapidly because everyone was like getting locked up at home and shops were closed and everything except for online businesses. So I had the I would say it's a privilege that you have a lot of sales coming in. And from what I can recall, during those days, it was quite stressful as well because we had to deal with a lot of supply issues. So it was an issue that had started from January itself, really, just before Chinese New Year. That was when COVID really hit China at the very first stages, and then the government over there shut everything down. Uh, I could not procure the later batches of stocks, especially when it coincided with Chinese New Year. Um, so despite the surging demand, uh, I found that uh, while it is not difficult to sell off your stock, most of the time you wouldn't be able to cater to the demand. A lot of them, they're asking for, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? I'm like, sorry, no. And then the other sellers are out as well. So it was a very stressful time. You have to deal with a high volume of messages with just a slightly, okay, I would say slightly, an increase in sales, yes, but not exponentially. Of course, over time, it started to settle a little bit. In China, they got things under control. And I mean, at that stage, at least, I believe it was the May or June of that year, while Malaysia was still under lockdown with the first part of MCO. At that point in time, yeah, sales were really picking up. We had things to sell and everything, but I think things really started to slow down when it was all the way high in sales until about September of 2021. So the sales were really, really going well for the whole year and a half since MCO started. And then it really started to stagnate around that time because a lot of people found that, okay, we're entering into the endemic stages, right? I mean, at that point in time, the term endemic stages already started coming up. So a lot of people started having the freedoms to really properly go out and hang out with their friends and everything during, yeah, September of 2021, around that time. And 3 months prior was when we were in the worst of it with the highest amount of fatalities and everything. And at that point in time, the sales was still not as good as MCO 1.0, but yeah, looking back in June of 2021, I was thinking, oh boy, so many people are dying, and the vaccination rates we're getting there, but it really seemed like sales were going to be great continuously for the next year or year and a half, especially with all the supply chain issues during that time. Demand was up, supply is decreasing again. So most of us computer parts retailers, we did not need to market our products as much. The customers will keep coming in at that point in time. Of course, that all changed about half a year ago. Yeah, so that was when it started declining, and I'm repeating myself here, but really, as the lockdowns eased up, a lot of people, they decided that, okay, I've spent enough money on my own personal computer and productivity, some of my home office equipment and everything. It's time for me to go out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's move to next question, Nisha.
Okay, so as we know, during the previous lockdown, some of the agencies from the government, they give you like, as the business owner, they
Grant
give
as
some
well.
of the supports and
Mhm, mhm,
incentives they
mhm.
given. Do you think it's useful for your business?
Uh, I can't remember too many details of the grant right now. I believe the only government scheme that I made use of was I forgot what the term is for that. Basically, the government was subsidizing 50% of whatever things that you want to take on to digitalize your business. I believe it was by
Mm-hmm.
MDEC. Yeah, I think that the one is
Mm-hmm.
by MDEC. So I did take that, but apart from that, I did not actively seek government assistance in terms of funding and whatnot because, as I'm sure Zohairi knows, that my business is a very low overhead kind of business. So I did not suffer as much as the other businesses, but they had too many staffs, and then they had to worry a lot about their overhead costs. For me, I think I was doing fine, so I did not really actively search for assistance. I did not actively hunt for assistance from the government, and I felt that it would be unconscionable to do so because, truth to be told, at that point in time, my business was doing rather well. It felt a little bit, I wouldn't say immoral, it's just a little bit unconscionable to be seeking for help when you don't really need one. So yeah, I did not
Yeah,
seek after government incentives and stuff like that.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, to the next question from me.
Mm-hmm.
How is your business performing during the lockdown, and is there any changes in your strategies, in your business strategies?
Well, during lockdown, it really depends on which part of the lockdown that you are specifying, right? But if you're talking about now, for the last, I would say maybe nine months or so. A lot of us, as you know, most of my business is derived from Shopee actually,
Yes.
e-commerce marketplace and those places. But a lot of us are actually feeling the brunt from Shopee. As an organization, they are actually making it a lot more difficult for sellers now, merchants on their platform, because they're increasing their fees. I'm not sure if you've heard. They're increasing their fees. They are also taking away a lot of the conveniences that sellers and buyers had. Well, I'm talking, of course, about the picking your own courier, whichever courier that you prefer. So a lot of us are getting increasingly frustrated over Shopee, and of course, when you don't like Shopee as much, you can always move on to Lazada or something else. But Lazada is no angel either. They're not anywhere. They're not any much better. Their traffic is way down compared to the yesteryears. Um, so we are trying to decouple from Shopee,
Okay.
right, by building our own website and uh, not rely so much, and trying to minimize our costs paid to Shopee, because it is a lot of money. I think last year alone I spent about 110, 120,000 paying Shopee just to facilitate our sales, and it's not a cost that I'm willing to bear, that is going to be increasing as we move forward. So we are really looking forward to decoupling from Shopee. Although of course it is difficult when you decouple from Shopee. You're talking about building your own website, so you need to direct traffic into your own website, which is something that most entrepreneurs struggle with. Uh, I've checked with the others, and then they're like, yes, we spend however much money on building a website, building the platform and everything, making the payment process easy for our customers. We still prefer going back to Shopee because everyone's already too used to it. I do not know if sentiments will change in the coming year or so. We are definitely seeing a drastic drop in Shopee sales overall, not just for my business, for most other businesses. Uh, we do not know whether this is caused by Shopee's policies, or the lockdown really weaning down and everyone prefers buying stuff from brick and mortar businesses. There's just no way of finding out. But yeah, we are exploring options to decouple, and it will take a lot of effort and time, and we're still struggling with that. I wouldn't say struggle, we're still working on that. It's a work in progress.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, let's move to the next question, Atira.
Okay, thank you for your explanation just now, Wayne.
Sure.
So my name is Atira, and my question to you is, I would like to know what do you expect will happen to your business? I mean, the situation of your business after lockdown of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, More sale or decrease in sale?
Of course, we would always want our sales to be increasing forever after, but to be a realist here, you definitely, I think this applies to every business out there. Sales will definitely be declining. It's whether or not you can do your proper cost cutting measures, and to make sure that your business stays afloat. So I think my concern is not so much on generating uh, the most income most of the time. I just want my business to be smooth, sustainable, and you do not have to deal with all the dramas and stuff. Yeah, so I think that's my primary goal. But yes, to answer your question, it will decline.
So we can move to Arif. Your questions.
Okay, Win. I want to know how uh, this COVID-19 impact your business, and we know that first and second wave of the pandemic lockdown, and our economy is locked down. So how you also uh, method or way you innovate your business?
Innovate business.
Yes.
Okay, my situation is a bit different. As with all other online e-commerce sellers, yes, most businesses in Malaysia suffered during the first two waves of the COVID pandemic. But when it comes to e-commerce, here's the thing: most of us were not really struggling in the sense we were dealing with supply issues. That was one. Uh, it's out of our way. No matter what you do, the most you can do is just adopting more products from different suppliers. But aside from that, if you are stuck with one supplier or two suppliers, then those suppliers have their own issues. Like, for example, you have the graphic cards supply issue crisis and everything. There is really nothing much that you could do. Okay, so but on the grand scheme of things, for e-commerce businesses, we were mostly doing a lot better than other sectors. For example, like tourism, definitely. Food and business, there were the highs and lows. Right? But right now, no matter how well food businesses are doing, they are not as well as good as pre-pandemic. So in comparison, I don't think of the pandemic being a time where all businesses suffered. There were definitely a lot of businesses that profited from the pandemic, and as much as it pains me to say it, I think my businesses really gained a lot of benefits from the pandemic. It's not a nice thing to say. A lot of people got sick and everything, and it felt more like monies that were supposed to be directed at other sectors flowed into the e-commerce sector instead. So that's how it felt, and yeah, I think. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Win.
Okay. Wait. For the last question, final question. Can we know how much your cost on startup your business, and how you approach the big brand like Suncycle? Before this, I went to your shop, and I saw the boxes with the logo Suncycle. And how you approach them?
I will need to give you not really brief also the summary. But it's important to know how I started my business. So I started my business back in 2015. At that point in time, I don't know if you guys recall, but in like 2015, our ringgit currency really crashed. I mean, crashed really badly against British pound, and my university fees were in British pounds. So despite the PTN loans and such, I found a lot of difficulty in affording my studies and everything. And at that point in time, I was very I was looking at all avenues to earn a decent income. And Razer, the company Razer, they had this sale on their website, a 50% discount on mechanical keyboards.
Okay.
That sale, because of their award winning, sempena their award winning lah, so called. So I was like really excited, and then I was in class, and then I tried ordering the keyboard, but I was late by about 10 seconds, and I missed out on it because it was sold out instantly in like less than a minute. So at that point in time, I was like quite okay, demand is there. So I wanted to move on into something bigger, and around that point in time, I believe it was you fast forward about a year or two. We're in 2017 now, and Techwear, the brand, had just started being popular.
Yes.
Because with all their budget offerings and stuff like that, and I'm all about budget offerings. So I actually approached them on Facebook. Hey, I am interested in selling your products. I gave an introduction of myself. I forwarded them my YouTube channel and stuff. It's not maintained anymore, but back then I had a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So gave them a link, and then they were like, okay, nice to meet you. Here is our business executive's contact. you may email him. So I was like, okay, email lah. And I think like 1 or 2 weeks after that, I was already sitting down with him, and we were having a coffee and a mama to discuss. I mean, he was like pitching to me what kind of products they sell and everything, and then I just tried my luck. At that point in time, you have to understand it was pre-pandemic, and the demand in the IT products was okay. It was fairly stable over the years. Even graphics cards were like quite affordable because not that many people were crazy into buying all those tech items. So it was fairly easy to join the distributor back in the day. But now, well, I think especially since 2019 or so, as with a lot of distributors, they are increasing their criteria when it comes to accepting dealers. When you have a lot of any no-name person joining all these distributors as their dealers, as their resellers, often they would be the term that we use in the industry is price war lah. Basically, it means that they are always undercutting the other retailers, and it's unfair. Actually not some, a lot of the retailers. This is an insider info, but basically, whatever stuff that you see on Shopee these days, on Lazada these days, for example, if you're looking for a printer, you will find that if you were a dealer, if you knew a dealer like me, you will find that the price that is displayed on Lazada or on Shopee are actually cheaper than the cost price purchased from the distributor. So there are a couple of things in play here. A lot of dealers, they took on a lot of stock, so they really need to offload. They are willing to bear the loss. Or distributors are overloaded in stock, and they also want to unload their items, and they are decreasing the prices, and they're selling directly on the platform. This is the kind of thing that happens when you have marketplaces like Shopee and Lazada really picking up in sales, in exposure back in 2018, 2019. So all the free shipping and everything. So they really tightened down on the requirements to one important criteria really. You must have your own brick and mortar retail shop. I did not have one until last year. Most of my business path I've been operating from home. Yeah. So I joined SunCycle, and they've been a very good partner with me. Although I feel that I have closer ties, equally close ties to the distributors in China.
I see.
Yeah. SunCycle is great, but when it comes to companies like SunCycle, your margins will not be super good to the point that you'll be able to get rich off it. You can lead a stable business selling things on behalf of local Malaysian distributors, but because so many businesses are already in contact with the local distributors here, if you are selling something that is less sold by other resellers, you would need to get them from distributors overseas. So China is one of them, and you can set a higher profit margin. Although, of course, when there are issues with the products, you will have to deal with it yourself. You can't rely on the distributor in China. So the thing with China is that whatever stuff that comes to Malaysia, it's very cheap. The shipping cost is very cheap. It's quite affordable. But in shipping back your defective items to the factory from Malaysia is astronomical. So it does not make economical sense. Most of the time, we just discard whatever defective goods that we have when it comes to things from China.
So that's all.
Yeah. I think that's all I have to say.
Okay. And that's all for our conversation. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Thank you, Wayne, for your
Sorry
time.
for being late, and I hope I am of value to your. This is your assignment. Is this your normal assignment, right?
Yes, this is my assignment.
Okay.
It's carry mark a lot actually.
Okay.
You are really helping us. Thank you.
Okay. That's good to know. What course are you guys doing?
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Which university? Which university?
University Kuala Lumpur, UniKL.
Oh, UniKL.
Yes.
I see. I went to the campus once in near Quill City Mall or something like that. That's UniKL.
That's our campus.
Oh, that's your campus.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I sent a couple of keywords there before in person back in the day lah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I wish you guys well.
Thank you.
If there's anything, you can contact me.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good days. Have a good day, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Wayne.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.